they want to take money from opioids for flock cameras. Well, why not put it back in the people? The way my 6-pillar plan is on my platform, they're not checking the box. They all work together. And I feel like not just this administration, you go to Grover, you go to Ashton Hayward, you go back as far as you want. No one has worked together for, every problem is connected. Every day, no one expected me to jump in this race. I didn't expect me to jump in this race, but that Baptist Hospital thing took the cake. So the condition when you don't fix the bottom half of the city, you see, certain things take root, and I was a product of it. I've seen the best of the city and I've seen the worst. And that's when, I don't hide the fact that I'm in recovery, going on 11 years of sobriety, full sobriety. I believe you'll be seeing me sworn in as mayor, no matter if we're talking November or August. I'm the only one that can turn this city around, and make it a place that every Pensacola can see themselves in, no matter who they love, no matter what color they are, no matter their bank account or their zip code.
That was Jermaine Williams, candidate for Pensacola mayor. I'm Jim Little with the Pensacola News Journal, and we'll have more from him in a minute. I sat down with 5 of the 6 candidates running for Pensacola mayor and discussed their candidacy and what they wanted to do as the city's chief executive. Former City Councilwoman Ann Hill declined to do an interview. Before we get to the interview, let's first recap exactly what Pensacola is and the role of the mayor. Despite its smaller size compared to the rest of Escambia County, the city holds a central role in the region's local economy as the hub of commercial activity. And the mayor is the chief executive of the city government and has final say over a lot of what the city does and doesn't do. In the last mayoral election in 2022, D.C. Reeves won more than 51% of the vote in the August election against 3 other candidates, in what was seen at the time as a surprising margin considering it was the first time Reeves had run for office and 2 of his opponents were former city council members. During that election, which occurred at the same time as the statewide primary races, only 15,029 people cast ballots, a turnout rate of about 36%. In the general election that followed that in 2022, city turnout increased to 57%, but the mayor's race had already been decided. Reeves is running for his second term as mayor, but it's an open question if he'll pull off a repeat of 2022 and win outright in August, or he'll face one of 5 challengers who will advance to a runoff and a broader city electorate in November. His challengers are Jermaine Williams, Alicia Trawick, Jasmine Brown, Colonel Eric Shorter, and former City Councilwoman Ann Hill. These interviews are presented with as little edits as possible to give you a sense of all 5 candidates who participated and their proposals for the city. They were filmed over the last few weeks of July and are being published together at the same time. The mayoral election is on August 18th, and early voting begins August 8th. Now, here's my interview with Jermaine Williams. I'm joined now by Jermaine Williams. How you doing today, Jermaine?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess for people who don't know you or haven't seen your campaign stuff yet, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and like how you got into running for office?
Yes, well, I'm born and raised here in Pensacola, Florida. I'm working behavioral health. My specialty is suicide and addiction. I was named this year the 2026 Peer Specialist of the Year by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, which is the best in the country. So, that's what my platform is built around. And I think that's what has been missing I grew up here. I remember Mayor Fogg. I remember all the mayors that came before the current one. And there's just haven't been emphasis on people, because when you take care of people, you will see the city grow and city operate and function the way it should. And when you take care of the person holistically, give them the right support, as government should, without overreach, and then you will see things flourish, and then you will see all the things you want out of a city come true.
So, so you said you're born and raised in Pensacola. Can you tell me just a little bit about, growing up here, what that was like, and what kind of your kind of life journey to get here?
Yeah, I grew up in the old Morris Court, pre-Ivan, Hurricane Ivan. Hurricane Ivan flooded it, so they knocked it down, and what's in Morris Court now is the new Morris Court, we all consider it. My grandmother and my aunt worked really hard. My grandmother is retired from the county, and my auntie, who they're both passed on now, but my aunt was a postal worker, and they worked really hard. And before Ivan, we were able to move down on East Street, and they built a brand new home there, and so we were very fortunate. I went to A.A. Dixon for elementary school. I went to Sacred Heart for 6th, 7th, and 8th for middle school, and Escambia, but graduated from Washington.
What did you do after high school?
After high school, that's when things kind of got hard for me. The condition, when you don't fix the bottom half of the city, you see, certain things take root, and I was a product of it. I've seen the best of the city, and I've seen the worst. And that's when, I don't hide the fact that I'm in recovery. I'm going on 11 years of sobriety, full sobriety. But it was hard for me coming from the inner city and not having the support, I had high hopes. My 5th grade teacher thought I would be the first African-American president, but Obama beat me to that by this much. But no, in all seriousness, it was hard. It was very hard. I had to leave Pensacola to get the help that I needed over in Jacksonville in a program called Florida Self-Directed Care. And because of that program and having an area of Florida who is responsible with the DCF dollars that flow through Tallahassee, I was able to get back on my feet. And as a part of that program, they offer goals to work towards. Study shows that when someone that is struggling with addiction or mental illness, when they are focused on a goal, they increase their chances to wellness. And a part of my goal was becoming a certified recovery peer specialist, which I have been working for 5 years. And that's what brought me back to the city, because even though I was working in Duval County, my eyes, whenever opioid tests, anything comes with the numbers, even though I'm paid by Duval County, my eyes go to Escambia first. And I kept seeing how bad we were. And before the National Council of Mental Well-Being named me the best in the country, I already knew I was. And I wanted to come back home and offer that support and help. Even though I was doing it from there, I wanted to do it full time. So that's what brought me back here full circle. And to, just give back to the city that I, at some parts, taken from. I think redemption should not be frowned upon. Some people don't have it the best as others. So I did take the rough part of the mountain to get to where I'm at. But, I think this city does not offer the best help that it could, as it could, and that's one of the reasons why I jumped in this race. Development is great. Responsible development is great, but we're not seeing that right now. But, you take a drive down there on Fairfield and Pace, and you see the unhoused community, people that have served this country, people that haven't, and I might be getting ahead of myself. I'm sure you have questions in there. But, we have not created an atmosphere for wellness here, and you see the results of that.
Would you say, what kind of issues did you deal with that, when you were addiction? Were there run-ins with the law? What kind of? Oh
yeah, all the above. Listen, when you're going through addiction, everything is on the table. I'm thankful that I didn't make a mistake that I couldn't come back from. But everything that I have went through, has made me who I am with my lived experience, to where I could relate to anyone, anyone at the top of the ladder or at the bottom as well. So yeah, there's things that's in my past. But it's not, everything is associated with addiction, like possession, things you would think of when you think of someone struggling with substance misuse.
Yeah. What did it, I guess, take to like come out of that? Like what, and like, because you hear about it all the time, and it's like so many people aren't able to.
Yeah, responsible. Number one, the willing. You have to want it for yourself. Number one, and then number two, responsible government. And I don't mean local government. DCF, the Department of Children and Family Services, is statewide. Just responsible. And the way, excuse me, the way that it works is that the governor signs how much money he's gonna give for mental health, and then it's dispersed through DCF. Each part of the state have DCF managing entities. Ours is Northwest Florida Health Systems. I got sober under LSF, Lutheran Services of Florida, which oversees St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Putnam County, those areas. So they are a little more outside the box thinking with addiction, and you see the way that they handle with their dollars. Here in Escambia County, we don't see that, and I think we have been number one, or flirting with number one in the past 5 years for opioid overdoses in the state per capita, beating out Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, wherever else, Pensacola. I don't think our problems is any worse than anywhere else in the state. But I do think the way we use our dollars is questionable. It's questionable.
You came back to Pensacola, but you also got involved in public activism, which I think kind of always been involved in that. So how did that, because I found a clip of during the protests over the Confederate monument that several years ago, where they were protesting it, and you were out there talking. You came across the street and talked to the people who were favoring the Confederate monument. I think we filmed that, but I guess you've been involved with that. I know you spoke out against the demolition of the Malcolm Young Gym. And more recently, the Fricker Center. But where did that getting involved in public issues?
That's always been in me. Addiction couldn't stop that. That's always been in me. I don't know. I watched my family do it for so long. They were part of movement for change here. It's funny you talk about the Confederate. Wow, that was a heated one. And you had pro and con, and there was Palafox separating them. And I said, let's go talk to them. And everyone got nervous. PPD, everyone got nervous. But when you go talk, we didn't come over there to rah-rah. We didn't come over there to cause problems. We went over there for civil engagement. And that single event showed me that we are a lot more alike than other people try to with propaganda to split us apart. So we are a lot more alike. That's one of my favorite interactions. There's a picture that my godbrother took of me hugging a couple of people from that side after what started as a tense conversation, more relaxed, more like, oh yeah, me too, to hugging it out.
And I think if we speak without nobody feelings get hurt, we'll see how much the same we are than we are different. You get what I'm saying? Give me a hug, man. You know what I'm saying? So we'll figure this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? And don't let the outside distractions get us. You know what I mean? Because I really believe it's the media pushing us up together. We can all sit down and talk.
You know, look at Facebook at any moment and look at what horror is there that some people are weak enough to believe. A lot of people believe that stuff, man. It's all over here. It's proof all over here.
Right.
We're here for a good reason.
Right.
We're here for a peaceful reason, because taking this monument down is not going to change a damn thing. This monument's been here since the late 1800s. It's never represented racism. It's never represented slavery.
I understand that.
Never.
Well, you know, I'm from Pensacola. I live in Jacksonville. Robert E. Lee High School is a predominantly black high school. That's, to us, it's almost like a Jewish kids going to Adolf Hitler High School. So, you know, it kind of feels that way to us. And I mean, I think if y'all just realize it's not thin skin, it's more like this is like a reminder. Because if the South would have won, I don't think we would have the freedom that we have today.
So, you know, that's one of my favorite moments in activism. But then there's, you know, when not that long ago, after Hurricane Katrina, a little bit after that, Pensacola, as far as murders per capita, was up there in the state, too high for our size. And, you know, I fought to stop the violence. But I also, same thing with mental health. You know, we needed some kind of help from city government. Yes, the citizens has a responsibility, but again, you know, I believe government has a responsibility as well to help create the atmosphere, and that's what I think. Poor Councilman P.C. Wu, who caught a lot of my a lot of my aggressiveness back in the day, but I was tired of seeing people dying, and you know, and I always said that if you don't fix this problem, it will bleed over where you don't want it to bleed over. And unfortunately, you saw that on the 4th of July of this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we're recording this on July 8th, and I guess, what was when you saw this past weekend, what was just your reaction to that?
Oh, I was sad about it. But when you focus more on development and dollars and cents and not people, all people of the city, unfortunately, those kind of things happen. When you turn a blind eye to the bottom half, when you turn a blind eye to people in general, no matter what their bank accounts are or whatever, you're gonna see those kind of things happen. Like the way my 6-pillar plan is on my platform, they're not checking the box, they all work together. And I feel like not just this administration, you go to Grover, you go to Ashton Hayward, you go back as far as you want. No one has worked together for, you know, every problem is connected. And I don't think they see it like that. Or if they do, it doesn't benefit their friends, you know. Because you know me, I believe corruption is heavy in this city, has been, is now. And it's just a common fabric. And so if you don't have the right address, if you don't have the right bank account, your problem is your problem. And that's what I'm running to fix. And I think that what we saw on 4th of July was when your problem is your problem bleeds over to everybody's problem, you know, public safety, you know. So I was very, very sad. But I knew with my 6-pillar plan, I was going in the right direction. My thought process now to what it was 13 years ago, I released that Sunday morning a video of me advocating to the council, and P.C. Wu, Councilman Wu was the council president at that time. That was 13 years ago, you know. And I wanted to show that I've been fighting for this for a very long time. And what I said back then is even more true today.
Some people might see that this weekend and see that it was the city public safety working correctly. It was a terrible event, but the police are investigating and everything, and other people kind of have your view. I guess it kind of brings the bigger question of what role do you see the city government in as far as in being involved in that? Some people might have a more limited view of city government. It's just, you know, kind of taking care of basic public safety and property issues, where I think you have your plan is more of way to solve a lot of socioeconomic problems that maybe other people view that as the state or federal government, or maybe not government at all. So how do you view, like, what's your kind of view of what the purpose of city government is?
Well, like if we're talking specifically on what happened on the 4th of July, I think that, Pensacola PD and whoever else assisted in that, they did a great job. They did what they could. The problems on that night didn't start that night. They didn't start last year. We live in a city where these kids don't have much to do. You see right now to where the neighborhoods, like, let's take Fricker Center. Fricker Center is being renovated. So the kids of Adams Court in that area, they have absolutely nothing to do, but I know they're getting shipped off to different places like Cobb and Woodlands and those kind of things. But Parks and Rec cut the numbers of the amount of children that are getting taken into those summer programs. So we're just leaving these kids out to dry. I don't think that these kids are, they don't have de-escalation skills. So let me tell you, a part of my addiction, I found even 3 years into my sobriety, no one believed I was sober because I was still acting erratic. It was only when I found out that I suffered from bipolar 2, intermittent explosive disorder, and PTSD. Now, when I got treated for that, then the rise of Jermaine, like everything was coasting. I had lasting relationships. I channeled my anger, all those things. I was able to curve things because my brain was leveled off and I was able to think clearly. Now, if we have one of these children with undiagnosed, let's say, intermittent explosive disorder. And what that is say you step on my shoe and I gave you a reaction like you punched me in the face. So it's a reaction that does not call for the situation. Then when I realize what I did, then I come back and I over apologize and I get depressed. Now, if one of those kids have intermittent explosive disorder, the same thing happens. They step on their shoe and they got a gun at their waist, they're gonna kill you. But I feel like when they have the proper structure of mentorship and they have something of behavioral health that can also, teach them de-escalation skills, to get them to fall in love with their diagnosis if they have them, and give them the tools to have the solution. And that's where Pensacola Directed Care comes in at, and that is the crown jewel of my platform. And that is based off of Florida Self-Directed Care, the same system that I got sober and got my life together, and it's in Jacksonville and Fort Myers right now. It's a house bill. So it's not a theory that just, I came up with. It's something you're looking at the result of what can be.
Yes, let's, can you walk through what your plan is that you came out with and the different pillars?
Yes. So Pensacola Directed Care takes care of the person holistically. Each person will get like a 3-person care team, which is a peer specialist, a therapist to unpack their trauma, and also a life coach to get their goals. There's also a $5,000 enhancement for their goals. So that goes for if someone wants to be a welder and they don't have transportation or, help with schooling, getting steel-toe boots, whatever it may be. We want to erase every barrier for wellness, So that way you stabilize an individual. And when you stabilize an individual, then they're able to keep a job. They're able to help stimulate the economy. They're not causing problems to EMS. There's not overdose costs. There is a less burden on the judicial system. You just see effects everywhere. But if an individual is working hard but have nowhere to live, well, that's what we want with the workforce housing. And that's just in these corridors that we see, places like Gibson or places like the Pensacola Motor Lodge. Well, what we like to do is have, affordable living spaces for those individuals. Now, it's ambitious. We like to do 3 in the first 4 years with a pipeline of 7 to follow. Leveraging grants through the state and federal CDFI, and and that's what we think that could have that affordable living for individuals who already in a stable neighborhood. To help protect neighborhoods, we want to do the Roots program, which is a 3-tier prevention from displacement. So what we'll do is when we see someone falling behind on their property taxes, we'll reach out within the first 30 days to make sure that they've check to see that they check the boxes for the exemption process. Second, after 60 days, we would like to, help them with help paying off their taxes, and they don't have to pay back until they close on their home or refinance it. But if it comes to a point that they have to sell, we would like to supply the first option. We don't want to force no one, but and then like through the land trust, community land trust, and we would like to get them top value of that home, and that way we can keep it affordable for the next person that comes along, the next family. Because like I don't have to tell you, I just rode to A Street to get here, and I usually don't do that, and I couldn't believe how A Street looked right now. But yeah, so when it comes to our youth, we want to also, now let me say this from the jump, we're not going to get every youth in this youth safe haven. But what we would like to do is take away barriers for any kind of after school program. That's chess, that's dance, that's football, that's pickleball, that's whatever, baseball, whatever these kids are into, STEMs. And we want the Juvenile Justice Center say 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the most vulnerable time when kids find themselves in trouble. The state of this economy now, you have individuals like myself working 2 jobs. Luckily I work from home. And so I can keep an eye on my 16-year-old, but not everybody have that leisure. That everyone has that luxury. So we want to give those kids somewhere safe to be. And most people can't afford, playing football is expensive. My son plays soccer for Washington. It's expensive. So we want to help to take care of those barriers, to give those kids something to do. As you can see, we are a pipeline here for sports. That's one thing we can do. These young people can play and get to that next level, D1, D2, wherever. But most people with that talent, they just don't have that financial support. Then they find themselves, in a little trouble that they can't get out of. And then of course with our Pensacola Launch Initiative, what we would like to do is have Pensacola as a breeding ground for technology. I want to create a work from home academy. And with that work from home academy, I want to partner with UWF and PSC. Now we're already start talking to tech companies that have AI software, cybersecurity out of Nashville. They don't want to go to Silicon Valley. So we want to open up as many participating schools, hospitals, businesses, whatever, to where they can grow and the people can grow with them. These work from home jobs are $50,000 to $150,000 per year. And especially individuals that go through PDC will have that help to get to where they want to go in that workforce academy if that's what they choose to do. And the reason why that works out so much better, instead of chasing companies like shipyards or Navy Federals or whatever, then they come here and then they rise all the costs. What we'll do is we'll take individuals that work from home, people here, we'll make sure that those companies hire Pensacola first. That'll be in writing. And we don't have to deal with the big companies located brick and mortar here, rising up everything else. We just take their money and circulate it in our economy and make families, better.
That's a lot.
I could go on and on. I still got more.
I was trying to count. I think that was 4 of the 6.
Yeah, that was. And then we want the accountability factor, but I don't want to eat up all the time.
Just those 4. Just those 4. They all sound like each one sounds like a good program, but they all sound expensive.
Yes.
So, and then the city this year, all local governments in Florida are facing this property tax referendum, which polls are showing are probably going to pass. So that'll be a 25 to 30% hit to the city's general fund.
Definitely.
How would you pay for?
Yeah, so I think most importantly, like a lot of that, we're gonna have to wait and see, what happens here in November, what the voters choose, and then we just take priority. We have to scale back some of the numbers.
I guess even if it didn't pass, like how would you pay for it? Because the city, they all sound pretty ambitious, and even with grants, doing those kind of programs, it just seems like
if you take PDC, there's already with Medicaid billing, DCF, and then the opioid abatement settlement. But I understand the county takes control of that, so it takes some working across the board to get the money through that, because if they want to take money from opioids for flock cameras, well, why not put it back into people? With the workforce housing with Community Land Trust, CDFI, which is a federal program that's already doing the work. We have one right here on I believe it's something like Barcelona or something like that. That's already using those federal dollars for those things. I think there's a workaround in that. Some of it, like with when you look at the Gibson building, like we have the spaces, we have eyesores all across the west side, and I don't think I'm the only one that sees it. As you can see, individuals are leveraging that to get to whatever they want the west side to look like. But like I said, there's some grants available, and I see your perspective of that. Even with grants, because even with the program to help kids with paying, breaking down the barriers, I think taking a look at that budget, which again, the $340 million budget, the $85 million general fund, all those things come into question.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm kind of asking. Yeah. Like, it seems like you would have to cut.
We would have to cut some things down, but I am a firm believer that there's a workaround to everything. Now, we come in with our plan of what we want to do, and then I know that the governor's office have some things that they want to abolish, like they think about property tax abolishing, and if the voters do swing that way, that's going to be a major cut to a lot of funding. A lot of people, I've seen it even reported in you all's paper, that they're looking at EMS and public safety as one of the major cuts. But when you look at a program like PDC, Pensacola Directed Care, that program alone takes away, crisis calls. It takes away EMS overdose calls. It takes away crime. Not complete crime, but it definitely scales back the number. So, and again, like opioid abatement settlement fund is there. I think it's been handled very irresponsible here. Like certain individuals I'm seeing, organizations, there's grassroots organizations now that's already doing the work that we can partner with. So I've already begun talks with certain CEOs, I'm not ready to name, but and they see ways that we can leverage like Medicaid and different, it's just outside the box thinking. It's a fresh eye at everything. I'm not gonna come in and just have every single answer. But the people that I'm surrounding myself with now, like I'm talking to now as we formulating this plan for every one of my pillars. People that were in government in high roles that that is not there now, but is interested in come back in my administration, likes what I'm doing, giving me input as I was building this plan. Now, when I was building this plan, the property tax wasn't a thing, but now it is. Yeah. So, listen, in the next 4 years, there's gonna always be something. It's gonna always be something that's gonna be a curveball. But a good leader gonna work around it. They're gonna find a way to get it done. When you overcome your own struggles and you work in behavioral health, well, I say I've taken over 1,000 suicide calls, gotten hundreds of individuals sober. I saved a lot of lives. When you have to work through federal policy, when you have your hands tied with so many things, got to operate through HIPAA, this country does not create the atmosphere to save lives the way you need to do. From my experience, like when something needs to get done, you can find a way to do it, and I'm a true believer that we will.
Let's talk about the campaign a little bit. And well, I guess you're obviously running. There's an incumbent mayor, D.C. Reeves, and everyone's basically challenging him. I guess, how do you? What's kind of your message as far as like how you would stand out differently than what he's done the last 4 years?
I'm not corrupt, and I care about people. I don't have high-profile parents that benefit from the mayor's office. I love this city. I'm not saying he doesn't. I absolutely love this city, even in times when the city didn't love me back. So I'm proud of Pensacola, and we have problems here. I've been working to fix these problems for free for the last 15 years, whether it's advocacy, organizing, mental health, suicide prevention. When people got turned away at Lakeview, when people get turned away from hospitals, they call me. I get up at my bed at 12 o'clock in the morning I took a suicide call on the 4th of July, I just absolutely care about people who vote for me, people who don't, So I just feel like that the people, care and concern have been missing out of the mayor's office for years. Just looking at this press conference, the way he sent prayers and thoughts and prayers, did you believe it? I know I didn't, and then got right into the work the police done. But, I've been in contact with the new chief since the 4th of July. Offer whatever I can as a citizen, and his response was not the crime, not help me find leads. The first thing he said was that mother is grieving. He sees the pain. I'm not trying to pin them against each other or compare each other, but there's a lesson in that. When you see a tragedy happen, yes, we have a lot of work to do, finding the killers, making sure the city is safe, ensuring citizens that the city is safe. I get all that. Let's take a moment because a life was lost. They're Pensacolians too. So a little bit more care and concern, but that just speaks overall, Right now, the hot topic is the unhoused. People call them a problem. I don't see a problem. It's everyone's problem. It's everyone's problem. The problem is the condition that created them to be unhoused. I don't believe in the word homeless, so you'll catch me saying unhoused population, but our residents, our neighbors. But, it's an election year, so it's something he cares about now.
Going around knocking on doors, what's been the reception to your campaign?
It depends on where I'm at. If I'm in I was going to start firing off district numbers, but if most people know
do district numbers.
Yeah, if I'm in my area, if I'm in 98, if I'm on the east side, They know me already. They know the work I've been doing. You know, they're proud. You know, because every day, no one expected me to jump in this race. I didn't expect me to jump in this race, but that Baptist Hospital thing took the cake. So, but I think people are proud. Now, when I knock in Cordova Park, you get a mixed reviews. You got people that think the mayor's doing a good job. You got a lot of people that say he got to go. So, you know, like a lot of people haven't heard of me over there. And then when I start talking about my credentials and who I am and what I've done, they're intrigued. You know, one thing I hear a lot is, I'm going to look into you, you know. So if nothing else, it sends a message to everyone that's controlling this city that the people are so fed up that they'll run to make sure you don't have a job.
Yeah, I guess is there. We're going into the elections in primary, so there's going to be. Oh gosh.
It's
6 candidates.
It might be 20. I don't know. I've lost
I
count.
think it's a 6-way race, or in 2022, DC won in the primary,
With the
surprised
51.
a lot of people by getting that over 50%. I don't know if that's possible again, but do you think that you would be in a competition right now to run into a runoff, or?
My goal has always been 51. Always. On August 18th, 50 plus 1. That's been the goal.
Yeah.
But I find, I'm a smart, goal-oriented person. I make sure my clients are too, and the one that I'm helping, my son, whatever. Set goals. And when you set them high, if you fall short, and if I fall short, then I fall short to a runoff, you know? Or if I fall shorter than that, it was a good outing. I definitely believe you'll be seeing me sworn in as mayor, no matter if we're talking November or August. I'm the only one that could turn this city around, you know, and make it a place that every Pensacola can see themselves in, no matter who they love, no matter what color they are, no matter their bank account or their zip code.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the South, so like race has to play a part in I guess just looking at the registration numbers of the city, registered voters, I think it's 75% are white in the city.
Yeah,
and
it's up there. I think the last numbers I saw was 8,500 African American, a little over 30,000 white, and a smaller percent, like maybe 3,000 of brown.
Yeah, and when you look at just that alone, I mean, when you look at party breakdown, it's about 40% Republican, 30% Democrat, and a large percentage that are non-party. But the election results in the past few years, you've seen the city vote for like Rebecca Jones against Matt Gaetz, or vote for Kamala Harris, but also in the same election where they voted for Rebecca Jones, they voted for Ron DeSantis. So it's like 50-50 city on party breakdown. I guess what is DC Reeves hasn't been shy from hiding his affiliation with the Republican Party, endorsing Brian Donalds, even though the city positions are nonpartisan officially. It seems like parties are starting to play a bigger role. I saw that you were endorsed by the Escambia Democratic Caucus.
Black Democratic Caucus.
Yeah, and do you think that helps or hurts parties coming into the mix? And do you think that is I'm kind of throwing multiple questions at you, but do you think that Pensacola is ready to elect a black mayor in the modern era?
I'm glad you said modern era.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell you this, regardless of my party, you know, I'm a lot more calmer right now than what I usually am when I'm speaking or in these forums on debate. And I think you know me well enough to know that. But all you have to do is hear me for the first 2 minutes, and people would think my party affiliation is Pensacola. Not Democrat, not Republican, not independent, it's Pensacola. And it's the people of Pensacola. So even I've had people that come in closed-minded with me until they hear me talk, until they get a sense of me. So, and then, you know, what helps out a lot is a mayor that's a little hobbling into this race. You know, he's not as popular as he once was as an unknown coming in, you know. Then you look at who, you know, the field was. This is not saying individuals he was running against, but this, you're looking at, oh, this is a big field. And a lot of people are excited. So new voters are being created. Like, it's unpredictable, you know, but I think that now, I understand why you asked that question. You don't have to go no further than you all Facebook comments to even see why you asked that question. But when you're knocking on doors in Cordova Park, like I have been, and talking to certain voters of people, and you're just thinking, okay, they're probably gonna, you know, they probably think this way. And the conversation when I leave their doorstep, you know, I'm like, wow, this city is not as divided as social media may make you think it is.
Yeah.
Because the people that's not making those harmful comments or saying those things, you know, like, they're not on there doing that, you know? So it's just like, we gotta take it back to the 90s and have like human face-to-face interaction so you can see the real deal. Now, I know there's pushback on it on both sides of the opinion, like, oh, that's just, you know, your face-to-face or this or that. But no, I don't think the city is as divided as we all thought it was. Look, you got.
And I guess that goes back to with the episode, the Confederate Monument, all those
Yeah,
years ago, where do you feel like you're going out to kind of cross Palafox and talk to people who maybe on the outside you wouldn't see anything in common with, and once you talk to them and you build that connection?
You build that connection, yeah. I tell you, when people find out that I was peer specialist of the year, and then they start talking about their son who overdosed and died, or they're in recovery, or that, you know, I normally lead with that, just to know for individuals that don't know me, so they know, like, I'm not just a mental health worker, I'm the best in the country. I think the world, but, you know, I just want them to see like accolades before I even open my mouth, so they know that, you know, where I'm coming from and what my thought process is and why I built the platform the way I did. And when you talk about that kind of thing that precedes parties and color and all those things. The human problem, like right now, the current administration, they're not addressing Pensacola human problems. They're not. Bringing jobs to the port that no Pensacola resident is going to get, that jobs that they could say till we blue in the face that, yeah, this is going to create a pipeline. People from Michigan probably already got them jobs. So, you know, yeah, you get that job at the port, that's fine, that's cool. I mean, you bring the jobs from the port, that's cool. But I'm working 3 jobs. You know, my son is in and out of jail. I don't, you know, I can't afford this, or, you know, the human problems of Pensacola. I can't pick up my recycling, or I can't drop off my recycling. My neighborhood is flipping. I'm losing my home. I mean, who cares about jobs 4 or 5 years from now? I'm trying to make it. I want to be alive 4 or 5 years from now. Now, government cannot take care of every single problem. But my goodness, we can help create the condition to make sure our citizens flourish. So, and that's something that I don't think he's interested in. You know, I don't never judge an incumbent by an election year, because they're gonna say and do and show up places. That's one thing I've heard. I have not seen him into this year. I've heard that a lot. I've not seen them in my neighborhood into this year. I have not seen them in. So, you know, it is what it is. Like, people are not as dumb as individuals think they are.
Appreciate you coming, and I guess we can like end it if you want to give like a, I don't know, 30-second, 60-second, just why people should choose you to be the next mayor.
Well, the reason why you all should choose me as your next mayor is because I have a heart for this city. I have the proper plan in place to turn the situation around on a human level. I'm just like you. I work 2 jobs, and I understand how hard it is now, how hard it is to raise a family. And, you know, talking to voters and talking to individuals every single day, I see how individuals feel, residents feel like they're not being seen, they're not being heard. And if you feel like that, now is the time to make the change. And I am the individual that's not just going to hear you and see you. I'm going to fight for you. And I'm going to create that condition that'll put you in a situation to move you and your family's life forward by any means. Nothing is going to stop me. Not a tax a tax amendment that's on the ballot, nothing is going to stop me. So put your faith in me and you'll have it in the right place, and I, in turn, to make sure that your life is better here in this city.
Well, Jermaine, thanks for joining me. I appreciate
All right,
it.
appreciate it. Thank you.